Hello, I want to welcome everyone to the Spiritual Maturity webinar series and talk a little bit about this forum, this online forum that everyone is invited to join and to contribute to, and also some of the recommended materials and readings and papers that will come out sometime just in the week before the October 27th early bird deadline, so that people who have already registered can get started with things if they feel like it. So first of all, I just want to say welcome. I am so excited. No matter if this group is 10 or 20 or 30 strong, I don't know how many the maximum is. I don't think it's a whole lot. No matter who's on board, I am thrilled with this opportunity. I feel that the investigation into identity and what's been called the I thought is so fundamental to unleashing the freedom and the truth that already is us before the thought of a self arises. So I am just so grateful to you for taking the time and the resources to commit yourself to this exploration, because it's a commitment actually to life in the universal sense, to understanding one's own support from and beingness within life as life. And then so much that we couldn't have expected arises in our experience. And I'm so excited to see where that goes for all of us. So first off, on this forum, I just wanted to make a note that it is confidential. So even mentioning to someone in your own life that someone else is on the forum, I would just be cautious about, unless they've already mentioned it in public. And of course, what is posted on the forum, including from myself, should remain confidential. Now we can get to the end and maybe talk about, is this something that we think would be helpful to others? But unless there is a consensual agreement on that, none of this will be released to the public. So I just want everyone to know that, so that they can post with honesty, because it is our honesty that invites truth into our lives. When we're hiding something, when we're pretending to be someone we're not, or pretending to have a spiritual understanding that we don't, then there's just too much thinking going on for truth to arise. But when we can accept our humanity and our struggles and our weaknesses and our egos and our relationships that may be messy and full of conflict, then there is a great release of thought and relief in oneself, from the effort of trying to pretend. So I know that as a teacher, I sometimes look at my own life and can say, oh, that's not good. I react to things, and my husband and I can argue, and yet freedom can be found in the midst of this. In fact, it can only be found in the midst of this. So I just am emphasizing the confidentiality so that people can feel free to post and know that no one will share their posts with others in any public way. And then in terms of responding to one another, I am excited now, and I've never done this kind of thing, so I'm responding with a welcome to everyone at this time. I don't know if it'll get too busy for everyone to respond to everything or for me to respond to everything. But feel free to respond to each other. And I would just recommend that whatever you say, to keep it to your own experience rather than taking the role of a teacher, at least for this in this setting. But suggestions are, I think, welcome, or ideas to reflect on. And love and support. I think that if we can just stay with love and support for each other at the bare minimum, this will be a nurturing forum and a wonderful forum. So those are sort of my guidelines. And someone may respond to you and it may not feel right. It may not feel right because, one, you're not ready and to hear that, and you could go back and take a look later and see if you get something out of that response. Or it may just not be, it may just be a miss. It may not be a response to your actual question, and that may happen from me, but that's okay. If someone else reads it and it resonates with them, then perhaps that's also useful. So I would just, make sure that tone is the main thing, and that love and support is within that tone, and then offering ideas as suggestions rather than instructions. So that's for the forum, and that will be going on for the 5 weeks. And then we have recommended materials, which will start to come up. Some of those will be books that you can order online. If I have a chapter that I really, from a book that I'd really love for you to read, I will perhaps try to copy and scan it to the forum and post it here. Everything will be posted here on this forum in one of the threads, with a very clear title, as in recommended resources, or the bonus paper that's going out as well. And what I want to say about these resources is, if you are involved with a particular spiritual movement, Three Principles or otherwise, your first hit from a new speaker or teacher may be a bit uncomfortable. The person may not speak in a manner that you're used to. They may come off as more intellectual or wordy than what you're used to, or less so. They may come off as sort of spacey and just sort of lost in a feeling. And all of the resources are not required. They're recommended, including the paper Myths of Spiritual Subculture. So if you really have an aversion, you just don't have to go on. But I would recommend, since we're really looking to see truth everywhere, and all of these materials are, I've picked them out because they are pointing to ourselves as truth, and not to some form or some ritual or some dogma. These are all speakers and writers and teachers who teach very directly. So I would recommend that if you have a reaction, that you either put the material down and come back to it another time, or stay with it and notice your reaction and continue to listen or to read or to watch. So these will go up initially, and then more may be added as we go along. But I'll just give you an example. One of the resources will be a lecture by Toni Packer. And hopefully the link will still be good when it goes up. And that's an audio recording. And I've read Toni Packer, and when I read her books, she has the gentlest sort of questioning way of talking to people, or so it seems in written form. But when I heard her speak, I thought, whoa, she's kind of heavy duty and intense and stern. So I had a moment of, okay, I'm not, from the Three Principles world, I'm used to more of a lightness and I don't know, just a difference in sort of the tone of how things are presented. And but as I listened to her, I thought, oh, this is quite good, So we're trying to get past some of our own subculture around spirituality and how we think it should be presented. Now, again, if something is not for you, then I am not going to force anyone to do anything that doesn't feel good. But if it's really not for you, then you just take a pass, But in this case, within this webinar series, I ask you to give everyone the benefit of the doubt and go back to the materials a couple times and read again and see what occurs to you. Also, every week, 1 week before each webinar, so starting on October 27th, there will be a reflective question and possibly homework or one or the other that we put on the forum. And that's for you to become curious about yourself. Where do you find thought resistance to the idea of the ego as an illusion, or to the idea that you are everything you need, that you truly are what you're looking for, that you really are that. So I've already come up with questions that we'll be posing to you. And when the question is posed, you can answer on the forum if you feel comfortable doing that. Or you can sit down and just write on a paper at home if you'd like to keep it private. No one is required to post on the forum. It's just highly recommended. Because we all learn and we see how human we are together in our thought misunderstandings and our insights. We can really learn from each other's insights, because all insight comes from the same place, and that same place is within each of us. So I'm hoping that insights will occur and be posted on the forum, as well as questions and struggles and so forth. I think that's all I have for today. I will make a point to look at the forum before every webinar and see what's been posted, so that we can speak to those topics within each live webinar. And I will try to respond as best I can if it's not terribly busy. And I so look forward to this experience with you. I welcome you, and I welcome you as myself, as this one energy that we discover together. So, God bless you, as is always the case, and I will see you on November 3rd at our first live webinar meeting.